Catholic family, Saint Teresa of Jesus. The value of prayer and works. God alone is enough.
Hey, look at this. There are saints' names I've never heard before. Here's one. Saint Tarcisius, Saint Gumersindo, Saint Pancras.
Of course. There are lots of saints.
Does anyone know who Saint Tarcisius was?
He was a very brave boy who lived during the early years of Christianity.
Wow, Mom, I'm impressed. You know so many saints.
Oh, come on. There are plenty of saints I don't know anything about.
Hey, which saint's day is the same day as my birthday? Let's see. Here it is. On October 15th, we celebrate the feast day of Saint Teresa of Jesus.
Wow, well, Saint Teresa is very important to all of us.
Really?
Yes, she's a doctor of the church.
Doctor of the church? What does that mean?
It means that her life and writings are very, very important to our faith.
A great saint, huh? And on my birthday. I'm glad that my birthday is an important day, because that means you'll give me something very special. Like, for example, a bike.
Hey, a bike would be a very expensive present.
Please.
Well, I promise Mom and I will think it over, okay?
You'll think it over? You're going to buy him a bike, aren't you?
I only said we'd think about it.
Well, I need a Game Plus.
What's that?
You know, Mom, it's for playing computer games.
Maybe for your birthday.
But it's ages and ages until my birthday. I want it now.
That's not possible.
Why not?
Because I'm sure it's very expensive.
And so is a bicycle. Come on, Mom, please.
I said for your birthday.
You're a spoiled brat.
Come on, don't be a grouch. I'm going to tell you about Saint Teresa. When Teresa was a little girl, she used to play with her brother Rodrigo. They both used to think about eternal life a lot, and they admired the way the holy martyrs had earned it through their love of God, their fellow men, and the Catholic Church.
The saints will be close to God
Forever and ever and ever.
Well, are you ready?
Yeah, I made us some food for the journey.
That's not what I meant. I mean, are you ready to be a martyr and go to heaven?
Yeah, will I be like the holy martyrs?
Well, we're going to the land of the Arabs. It's going to be a long, hard journey. When we get there, we'll preach that Jesus is Lord. They may get mad at us and kill us. Who knows? We might die a horrible death.
I want to be a martyr for Jesus like you.
In that case, let's get going. There's no time to waste.
This is great. Being a martyr is the quickest way to get to heaven.
Shh! Be quiet or you wake up Mom and Dad.
But this is so exciting.
Honestly, Rodrigo, can't you be quiet for a second? You're incredible. They were really brave.
In fact, they were being very irresponsible. They ran away from home and got as far as the next village.
Didn't they get to the land of the Arabs?
No, their uncle saw them in the village and took them home again.
And they didn't run away again?
No, their parents had been very worried and scolded them. So that was the end of their adventures. Then, when Teresa was 14 years old, her mother died.
That's so sad.
Yes, it was very hard for the family, but Teresa turned to the Virgin Mary.
I miss you, Mother. Virgin Mary, I know that you love me. From now on, I ask you to be a mother to me. Please don't ever leave me.
From that moment on, Teresa had a special devotion to the Virgin Mary and never let herself drift away from her.
This is such a disaster, Mom. I don't know what to wear for Alex's birthday party. I don't have any clothes I like.
Huh? You have a whole closet full of things that you don't like.
That's not fair.
You know, Teresa was very pretty as a girl, and she began to dress up all the time. She was always looking in the mirror, trying on new clothes and wearing perfume. She wanted to look her best, like you. Her father was worried that she was becoming vain and conceited. He was afraid that she'd spend all her time thinking about these things. So he decided to send her to study at the convent of the Augustinian sisters in his city, Avila, right in the center of Spain. The way the nuns lived made a big impression on her. Teresa saw that the nuns dedicated a lot of time to prayer and were always happy. How could the nuns be so happy if they were always shut up in the convent? Teresa prayed long and hard to find out what God wanted of her.
I belong to you, for you I was born. Jesus, what do you want of me?
Sister Patricia, can you show me a holy card of St. Teresa? I really want to know what she looked like.
St. Teresa of Jesus?
Yes.
I think I've got a holy card right here.
Wow.
When she was 20, she told her father that she wanted to be a nun. But her father told her she should wait a few more years. Teresa felt strongly that she wanted to enter the convent. But at the same time, she was very sorry to leave her family and friends, who she loved very much. After a time, Teresa decided to run away from home. And she went to the Carmelite convent of the Incarnation.
There's just one thing.
What's that?
Why was it so difficult for St. Teresa to enter the convent? She really loved God, didn't she?
That's right. Teresa loved God very much, but she found it hard to leave her family. Sometimes in life, we have to ask God for special grace in order to be able to carry out His will, even if it's difficult.
What happened next?
Not long after she became a nun, Teresa became very sick, and she had to go home again.
Is it very serious, Doctor?
I'm afraid so.
And might she die? I see.
I am very sorry. I really am. I did everything I could, but now she is in the hands of God.
Lord, I accept this suffering and I offer it to you, but I want to serve you. I have given my whole life to you, and I think I could serve you better if I were healthy as well. Saint Joseph, intercede for me so that I may be cured and serve God with all my strength.
Then Teresa got well again. Everyone knew that it was a miracle. She was sure that it had been thanks to the intercession of Saint Joseph. From that time on, she had a special devotion to him.
Wow.
Saint Teresa was a great teacher of prayer.
What's prayer?
Prayer is when we talk to God and make friends with Him, telling Him all our joys and all our troubles. He's our friend, and He's waiting for us to talk to Him.
Well, in the end, we bought the bicycle for Alex.
It was expensive, but it's his birthday.
Do you think Sarah will be upset?
Thomas, Sarah has to understand that this Game Plus she wants is very expensive. It'll be good for her to learn to wait for her birthday.
You're right. We have to teach them the value of being patient.
You know what, Sister Patricia? I'm going to stop praying.
That's a great idea.
Jesus, I've come to church to pray. But I don't know what to tell you, because you know everything. I've been here for 5 minutes and I'm getting bored. I get bored when I'm trying to pray. I tell Jesus what I did that day, and when I've told him that, I don't know what else to say.
Don't worry. The same thing often happened to Teresa.
Did she get bored when she was praying too?
Yes.
But she was a great saint. How could she get bored of being with God?
The great saints were people just like you and me. Teresa used to get so bored that she would count down the minutes until she could finish praying and leave the chapel. She spent the whole time waiting for the bell to ring. The bell marked the end of prayers. In that convent, there were more than 100 nuns, and their lives were a lot of fun. The nuns often had visitors, and as Teresa was so lively and outgoing, she spent a lot of time chatting and laughing with the ladies who came to see her. Sometimes the visitors brought her presents.
Talking of presents, my brother is a spoiled brat.
Why do you say that?
Because they're going to buy him a bike, and they won't buy me a Game Plus. And I need it so I can play with my friends.
Well, now, you don't really need that gadget to be happy.
You don't understand. Everyone has a games console except me.
Listen, I'm going to tell you something that might help you. Some nuns used to pray many times every day, but Teresa preferred to have fun with the other young nuns and chat for hours and hours in the refectory. Teresa prayed very little, until one day something happened.
What happened?
Teresa had seen the same crucifix many times before, but that day it seemed that Jesus was bleeding more than usual. Teresa was deeply affected.
Lord, how did this happen?
Your gossip with the visitors. That's what did this to me, Teresa.
From that day, Teresa didn't waste any more time with her visitors or on friendships that didn't lead to saintliness. She began to spend long hours in prayer.
And how did she pray? I want to learn from Saint Teresa.
Well, the first thing you have to understand is that we can't hear God with our ears.
In that case, how can I hear him?
Jesus puts thoughts in our minds and in our hearts, and sometimes he helps us to realize things. Once she heard Jesus speaking to her.
I don't want you to speak with men, but with the angels.
Sometimes she rose up off the floor when she was praying. People began to talk about these things throughout the town. Some said she was a saint, and others said she had a demon inside her.
I have such hope that I die because I do not die.
I die because I do not die. I don't understand what that means.
Teresa had a vision of heaven and hell.
Really?
Yes, and when she saw the heaven that God has prepared for us, she really wanted to go there.
But we will only go to heaven when we die.
And that's exactly what Teresa said. She didn't mind dying if it meant she would go to heaven.
It says here, you need 3 cups of flour and 2 eggs.
That's to make the cake mix.
We're so lucky that Grandma wrote down her birthday cake recipe. It's the best cake I've ever tasted in my life.
Yes, you couldn't buy one like it in the shops.
And it says here how to make it step by step.
You know, Teresa's spiritual director told her to write about her life, and she did as she was told. She started to write down everything that God told her.
Just like Grandma did with the cake recipe.
Yes, you could say that. Teresa started to meditate on the life of Jesus. She had a vivid imagination, and she pictured herself being there with him. For example, she would imagine that she was at Jesus' side in the Olive Garden while he prepared himself for his passion.
That's a good idea. When I'm praying, I can read part of the gospel and imagine that I'm there myself, watching it all happen. Jesus, today I'm going to think about when you were born in the stable in Bethlehem. And then I imagined I was in the stable in Bethlehem. I was there. And I saw the Virgin Mary and Saint Joseph and baby Jesus sleeping in the manger. It was so beautiful. And I realized something.
Oh, really?
Yes, I realized that Jesus was born poor. Very poor.
That's right. Jesus gave us an example of poverty.
And I thought that I have so many things, and sometimes I feel sad because my mom and dad won't buy me something that I want, like the Game Plus. And Jesus didn't have anything. He didn't even have a proper crib or a house to be born in.
Saint Teresa understood this too, and that's why she said, "Whoever has God lacks nothing. God alone is enough." And this is a great truth. To be happy, we only need God. Do you see? Our Lord Jesus has helped you to realize all of this.
Now I know how God speaks to us.
You know, Saint Teresa had a niece who was also a religious sister in the convent of the Incarnation and who gave her a very good idea. Sister Teresa, why don't you start a smaller convent than this one? There are too many sisters here, too many people visiting, bringing presents.
I understand, sister.
It makes it very hard to lead a life of prayer. Teresa prayed hard and came to think that what her sister had said was the will of God. So she asked permission from her superiors, and they granted it. And she founded the convent of St. Joseph.
Of course, now I understand. She named it after St. Joseph because of the devotion she felt towards him. Was it a very small convent?
Yes, it was smaller and poorer. But Teresa didn't mind. She wanted to be poor as Jesus had been. They didn't even have money to buy shoes. That's why they wore sandals, and they called them the Discalced Carmelites, which means they went barefoot.
Why must we desire so many goods and pleasures? Will pleasures and pastimes lead us to the fruition of what he won for us at the cost of so much blood? That is impossible. That is not the right way. We shall never reach our goal.
Teresa and her sisters were very happy being poor, because to be happy, it's enough to have God. That's what Teresa said. In time, news reached the Pope of the poverty of these sisters, and he approved of their way of life. So he named Teresa Mother Superior of her old convent to encourage the nuns to carry out their vocation better.
So she went back to the convent with all the presents.
Yes, and do you know what? The nuns were all afraid because they knew Teresa was very strict.
My dear mothers and sisters, the Lord has sent me here through the voice of obedience. My only intention is to serve you. Do not be afraid. Although I have lived for a long time among the Discalced Carmelites and have been their superior, I also know how to govern the Calced Carmelites with the Lord's mercy.
She's right. We must trust Mother Teresa.
And so she won the friendship and the respect of all the nuns and was able to reestablish the original discipline and way of life of the Carmelites.
So they didn't chatter all the time or get presents?
No. The sisters prayed more and were poorer, but they were happier because they were closer to God.
You know, Dad, I've learned that I don't need a Game Plus to be happy.
You're right about that.
St. Teresa said, "Whoever has God lacks nothing. God alone is enough."
And that's very true. If only everyone could see that.
Dad, can I turn on the TV? The cartoons are about to come on.
Have you done your homework?
Yes.
In that case, you can.
Yay! Ha!
Sarah, what are you doing?
I'm praying.
You can't pray properly here. It's too noisy. You know, St. Teresa recommended going somewhere quiet to pray, somewhere you can be on your own. Why not go up to your room?
You're right. I can't really concentrate here anyway.
Are you reading the gospel?
No, I finished it already. Now I'm reading the life of St. Teresa. You know something, Mom? She said that God is among the pots and pans. What did she mean?
Well, the pots and pans are in the kitchen where the food's prepared.
Ah, now I understand. That's why Teresa helped with the everyday jobs in the convent and offered her work to God. Because that way the chores became a prayer.
That's right. God is also in household chores.
Well, as of today, I'm going to tidy my room every night before I go to bed and offer that little chore to God.
I think that's a great idea. Did you know that St. Teresa founded 17 convents in her lifetime? And a very important requirement for a girl wanting to become a Discalced Carmelite was intelligence.
Intelligence? You mean that Teresa wanted the sisters to be intelligent?
Yes, because Teresa said that an intelligent person knows that they are not perfect, so they find it easier to accept help.
It is easier to acquire piety than maturity of judgment. May God preserve us from silly nuns.
Did she really say silly nuns?
Yes, that's what she said.
Well, I've decided to take spiritual direction from Father Michael so he can help me pray and be closer to God.
That shows that you're intelligent. But listen to this. Teresa wanted to go to heaven very much, and at last her time came.
Oh, Lord, at last the time has come for us to see each other face to face.
So Teresa died, and only 40 years later, she was proclaimed a saint. Today, there are more than 20,000 Discalced Carmelites, both men and women, living in 1,300 monasteries and convents all over the world.